These are the words and stories I think about when I think of Dad. Strong, solid, deep, uncompromising, driven, concerned about society and future generations, unspoken, still waters that run deep. A strong mind, strong will. The surprise when we went to Baskin-Robbins that instead of vanilla, he got some exotic and elaborate flavor. Hong Sao Zuro, eggplant, salt. The pat on the head a few times during childhood while practicing the piano that was understood to be a sign of love. The words spoken at my wedding about commitment. The depth and vision of the journey he and Mom undertook in their adventure through life and the challenges they faced in building a new world for themselves, their children, and all subsequent generations. The importance of family names and knowing where you come from. The childhood stories about growing up on a farm, playing marbles, failing third grade, and the steely determination to succeed. The sacrifices along the way. The sharing the doufu, or daogugu, on the way to school. The hidden mischief of the boy who would ruin his school shoes by playing too much. The bond between himself and his brother and his sister. That enduring bond between them that crossed time, continents, and even the border between this life and the next. The Kennedys and our failure to live up to that. The man that loved natural beauty, taking him to places we knew he would love. Acadia, Half Moon Bay, Tarn House in the Lake District. Wishing we could bring him to see Finland. Shortbread biscuits, many, many boxes of shortbread biscuits. Seeing the smile on his face when he spent time with my boys. The sheer joy of swinging on the porch swing at a cabin in Acadia with Michael and Andrew. The stories of his trip to America, the seasickness, the fact that he was so thin his hand could encircle his upper arm, the beginnings of his love for potato chips, the fondness and respect with which his professional colleagues speak of him. What a surprise! They have stories about him that sound like a different man, collegial, relaxed, in open discussions, with photographic evidence, having a drink at a conference with friends. But at the same time, together plotting the future and making plans for where things would go in the future, always pushing, pushing, pushing what was possible and making new things happen. The kindness of those who have known him, who talk of him as a gentle soul. Triple reconfirming flight reservations. Sitting outside, running the engine, everyone in the car waiting for Janet to finish getting ready to go somewhere. The hardship of saying goodbye with every visit these past 3 years. The sense before this trip that this time it was different because all of the Sibs were going to be here at the same time. How could we have known at the time we booked tickets 2 months ago? The kindness and generosity he's always shown to my husband Paul. The questions when I was 28 about whether I would get married before or after my PhD, like something you could schedule, like a dentist appointment. Love? Of course, but only expressed as such late in life, when it was okay to do so, and I knew that he would be happy to hear expressions of love. But more so, just holding hands and looking into his eyes. for what seemed like hours and days. Plants, jade plants, night blooming cereus, taking photos in the middle of the night to celebrate the transient nature of their unique beauty. Those black plastic glasses from the 70s. Photos that help me remember certain times, with Dad holding me by the swing set at Compton Road, riding on a pony. The surprise in Dad's artistic abilities to draw a cherubic baby on the fold-out announcement of Alex's birth. The family stories that told me he laughed more with me than with the other kids, likely due to the time I came around when he had already achieved success in his career. Looking at who's who and being able to point to a number that confirmed my existence, the number of children of this illustrious entry. Searching the number of patents and finding page after page of them. The disconnect that he could talk so sincerely and so deeply about friendships from decades ago, for someone that I always thought just seemed so solitary. The fondness with which his carers speak of him now. Seeing him with Robert in a bond forged through years of ups and downs. Seeing his vulnerability. Giving my son Andrew his own Chinese name. How's school? Work hard, help your mommy. Pretty much the only conversation my kids have ever had with him since they were young boys. The joy he took in just having the grandkids around. Not necessarily interacting with them, but just watching them play from a distance. Watching him with my boys and thinking how infrequent the times were that I could remember being with him in my childhood. The notable exception was, of course, the pastime of standing eggs up on their ends on the family kitchen table. These memories now serve as an exquisite metaphor of his life, taking on what looks like an impossible task, but with patience, skill, and a deft hand, and being able to realize a vision of what could be done.